My name is Ileana Leca. Thanks for watching this. I hope we'll have fun together. I certainly had fun while preparing this lesson for you. Would you like to know what it is about? Well, let me share the screen and I'm going to show this to you. What you can see right now is, first of all, my name, as well as the name of the school where I teach English. And here's a game for you. What's the missing letter? There will be 5 words on the screen, and the first letter of each word is missing. I'd like you to guess what the letter is, and by putting those letters together, you will find a secret word. The first word is something that I bet most of us enjoy listening to, and that's music. So the missing letter is M. For the next word, which has to do with letters, and that's alphabet, the missing letter is A. The next word describes an animal. You must have guessed it, gorilla. So G is the missing letter. Imagination is the next word, so I is the letter we need. As for the last one, candy, the initial letter is C. So when we put these letters together, what is the mystery word? M, A, G, I, C. Magic. Well, magic is the key word for today's lesson, because I'm going to read out the story for you, which is called The Magic Bubble. Please pay attention to the story. When I finish reading it, there will be an exercise in which you will prove how well you understood the text. Now, the story is about a girl whose name is Hannah. And here it goes. The Magic Bubble. Little Hannah loves to make soap bubbles, shiny, colorful, airy ones. Every day she has a bubbly good time. She wants to make bigger and bigger bubbles, but the bigger they are, the quicker they break. So Hannah decides to use more soap. She makes a tiny multicolored bubble. She watches it go up in the air, and in the bright sunlight, it looks like a small flower. Then she makes a bigger one. She would like to fly with the bubble, to go anywhere she wants. Watching how fragile but strong it is, Hannah makes a wish. I wish I could be invisible and fly like these bubbles and see the most beautiful things in the world. The next bubble she makes is stronger, and it doesn't break as she blows more air into it. It keeps getting bigger and bigger until it is as big as she is. But this bubble doesn't fly away like the other ones, and Hannah wonders why. She goes around it, then she touches it, and the bubble doesn't break. This is a very curious bubble, she says. Then she gets close to it and wants to hug it. To her surprise, she gets into the bubble. She cannot believe her eyes. She sees the world outside, but she cannot hear any sounds. This must be a magic bubble, she thinks. And the bubble is magic indeed. It slowly goes up in the air, and Hannah feels for the first time that she can fly. She is amazed. The bubble takes her to the sun. She can feel its warmth more and more. Now her wish is about to come true. She flies over the hills. She says, foxes, pheasants, running in the fields. She says this is the most beautiful sight. As it's spring, the whole nature is blooming. She sees trees blossoming. She can feel the sweet smell of lilac. She hears all the wild birds in the forest sing. This is such a show to her. She exclaims that this is the most beautiful sight. I can't believe I now fly. Or is it, I'm now flying? I need to do my exercises more often. I cannot make mistakes with these things. I'm now flying next to a flock of birds, she says to herself. The whole experience is very exciting to her. She can see a flock of sheep down below and the shepherd with the dogs. She says this is the most wonderful thing. Then she flies over a lake and sees a field of daffodils. She loves the smell of yellow daffodils and is amazed at the hive of bees that she sees next to the forest. Then she says this is the most beautiful thing in the world. Then she sees the tallest trees and the greenest grass and says this is the most beautiful thing in the world. Seeing this, the bubble thinks it's time to take her home. On her way back, Hannah cannot make up her mind which is the most beautiful thing in the world, but she cannot wait to tell her friends about her adventure. When she gets home, the bubble magically disappears. And Hannah thinks this is the most beautiful thing in the world. The power of imagination. Magic. Now, this was the story. And indeed, the power of imagination is probably the most beautiful thing in the world. Of course, Hannah wishes she could be invisible, but if you were to have a power, a secret power, what would that be? Would you like to be invisible? Would you like to fly? Would you like to be able to read people's minds? That would be fantastic. Now, Hannah feels she should do more exercises. And that's what we will do too. As I was telling you earlier, let's check how well you understood the text. On the screen, you will see some sentences. We will mark them T for true or F for false. And here's an example. Little Hannah loves to make soap bubbles. It's true. Now let's start with question 1. The tiny bubble goes up in the air and looks like a small bird. Now, when I read out the story, I said that Hannah watches the bubble go up in the air, and in the bright sunlight, it looks like a small flower, not a bird, which means the first sentence is false. We'll move on to sentence number 2. She wants to hug the bubble, and the bubble breaks. Actually, this bubble is stronger than the other ones, and it doesn't break as she blows more air into it. And it doesn't fly away either. So this sentence is also false. Number 3, the trees are in bloom, and Hannah can feel the sweet smell of lilac. Yes, that's exactly what happens, and she loves it. And you probably remember the picture with the lilac. We'll move on to number 4. Since sentence number 3 is true, she can see a flock of sheep and the shepherd with the wolves. Well, if there were any wolves next to the sheep, they would probably eat the poor sheep. So the shepherd has dogs with him to take care of his sheep. The sentence is false. And the last one, the most beautiful thing to Hannah is the power of imagination. Yeah, this one is true. And with the power of imagination, Hannah can fly. She can visit the places she's always wanted to visit. What can you do with the power of imagination? I bet you can be whoever you want to be. I bet you can do whatever you dream of doing. At least that's what happens to me. So once again, here are all the 5 sentences, and I've marked them true or false according to the text. Now, Hannah feels she should do more exercises. Remember, she wasn't sure about the grammar rules. She was saying, I can't believe I now fly. Or is it, I'm now flying? Well, you're smart kids. You know the difference between present simple and present continuous. So I bet you know that she should be saying, I'm now flying next to a flock of birds. That's why we'll be talking about something else. We'll be doing exercises because practice makes perfect. And the first one is about vocabulary. Here's a table which gives you expressions formed with the verbs do and make. We'll go through them together. You can do the housework, meaning all the small chores around the house. You can do the gardening if you have a green thumb. You can do the washing up, and that's a nice thing. You can help your parents around the house. You can also help them if you do the shopping. As a student, you do your homework. Hannah, for instance, does some exercises. When the exercises are a bit too difficult, I guess she does her best. I am now doing my job, teaching. Now let's move on to the expressions with make. You can make some tea or, ooh, my favorite, hot chocolate. You can make breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Hannah makes a wish. She is careful not to make a mistake. I bet that after getting up in the morning, you make your bed. When you go to your desk to do your homework, you make sure you don't make a mess. We all make an effort when we want to achieve something, and sometimes we may need to make a choice. Have another look at these, and then we'll move on to an exercise in which there are 5 sentences for you to complete using the correct form of do or make. I'll give you time to do the exercise on your own. Please make a note of the correct forms of these verbs in your notebooks, and we'll be back shortly to check your answers. So here it goes. Sentence number 1. We need to do the shopping. There's nothing left to eat in the fridge. Number 2. What would you rather have? Ice cream or cake? Make your choice. 3. I know the homework is difficult. Just do your best. 4. Be careful. You cannot make any mistakes. And 5. I always do the housework on Saturdays. Good job. Let's move on to grammar now. And we'll talk about how we form plural nouns. Now, the rule goes that for most of the nouns, we add an S. For instance, cat, cats, egg, eggs, horse, horses. We add ES to nouns that end in CH, as it happens with watch, watches, or H, like lashes. Nouns ending in O, like potato, potatoes, or maybe those ending in S and double S, like atlas, atlases, class, classes, or those ending in X and Z, fox, foxes, buzz, buzzes. But wait, there are exceptions to the rule. With words like photo, kangaroo, piano, and zoo, we simply add S to form their plural, although they end in O. When a noun ends in Y, we change Y to I and then add ES. And that's the case with cherry, cherries, strawberry, strawberries. If the noun ends in F or FE, the first thing we do is to change F to V and then add ES. Let's take a look at some examples. Elf, elves. Knife, knives. Life, lives. Wolf, wolves. But guess what? There are also exceptions to the rule. Cliff, gulf, and roof simply add S. Some nouns have irregular plural forms, and let's take a look at some examples. Men, men, child, children, foot, feet, goose, geese, tooth, teeth. There are other irregular plural forms as well. And we'll move on to another rule. A few nouns have the same singular form as the plural form. For instance, cod, deer, salmon, sheep. We say one deer, two deer. And also, it's worth mentioning nouns that have no singular form. For instance, scissors, trousers, Twizzers. Now it's your turn. There are 10 words on the screen. You need to write the correct plural form for each one. Of course, you'll write them in your notebook. And I'll once again give you time to do that. If necessary, you can pause the recording when you watch this so you can write the correct form and then you'll check it with me. And let's check these together. I've highlighted in red the changes that happen to the singular noun. For cakes, we simply add S. The same rule applies to bubble, bubbles. With cherry, however, since it ends in Y, we need to change Y into I and then add ES. Tomato adds ES for its plural, tomatoes. However, kangaroo, which is the exception to the rule, simply adds S, kangaroos. Deer is one of those nouns that has the same form in the singular and in the plural. Goose, however, has an irregular plural form, geese. Box adds ES, boxes. Roof receives S, roofs. And sheep has also the form sheep for the plural. Well done. Here's one more exercise. Cross out the incorrect word in each line. And let's see what this is about. A carton of juice, milk, spaghetti. Well, a carton of something is a container in which we pour liquids. Juice and milk are liquids, spaghetti aren't. So spaghetti is the odd one out in this line. And we'll consider the next one. A kilo of foxes, potatoes, tomatoes. Now, when you go to the market, of course you can buy potatoes and tomatoes, but not foxes. So please cross this one out. A packet of spaghetti, rice, or juice. Now, from the first line, we know that the correct form is a carton of juice, which means we can never say a packet of juice. This one is the odd one out. And moving on, a bar of soap, chocolate, or beef. Now, it's quite unlikely to have a bar of beef, right? So cross this one out. You can only use a bar of soap to wash your hands, for instance, or you can have a snack, a bar of chocolate. And here's the last one. A slice of jam, bread, or ham. Jam and ham do rhyme, but you can slice ham and you can never slice jam. So cross out jam because you can only have a slice of bread and a slice of ham. And if you're still watching this, it means I've worked my magic on you. And that makes me happy. And with the power of magic and imagination, I can feel the strong smell of daffodils in this picture. Can you? Well, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.